The last goodbye is often the one we never realize is final. Just yesterday, Luna stood at the farm with a smile, waving farewell to her best friend Linda as she left to start a new life with the man she loved. Today, her name returns only as a painful echo of loss. In a single moment, everything changes. Dreams are silenced, memories become wounds, and a heart is forced to learn how to survive grief. How does Linda endure the unendurable? Stay with us, subscribe to the channel, and step into a story where loss, love, and healing collide. Linda had never imagined that the last time she saw Luna would truly be the last moment their lives would ever intersect. That afternoon at the farm, everything felt so ordinary, so filled with gentle sunlight and quiet laughter that death seemed like a concept belonging to a distant world. Luna arrived with the wind in her hair and a bright, hopeful smile on her lips, her hand tightly intertwined with her lover's, as if she were already holding on to her future. She spoke excitedly about their new journey, about the small house they planned to build near the hills, about mornings filled with birdsong and evenings warmed by love. Linda listened with a smile that hid a strange ache in her chest, an ache she could not explain. When they hugged goodbye, it lasted a few seconds longer than usual, as if their hearts were silently aware of a farewell their minds refused to accept. Linda still remembered how she stood at the edge of the dirt road, watching Luna's figure grow smaller with every step, the dust rising softly under her feet. Luna turned back one last time, waving with that familiar, careless joy, shouting promises into the open air. Promises of visits, of shared memories yet to be made, of a future where nothing could truly separate them. Linda waved back, her smile trembling, her eyes stinging for reasons she stubbornly ignored. The sun was setting behind the fields, painting the sky in shades of gold and fading pink, and she whispered a quiet prayer she did not even realize she was making. It was only later, when the farm returned to its evening silence, that the uneasiness began to creep into her heart. The wind brushed against the tall grass, the animals settled into their calm routines, yet Linda felt a strange hollowness lingering in the air. She replayed every word Luna had spoken, every laugh, every glance, as if trying to store those moments somewhere safe. At the time, she thought she was merely being sentimental, clinging to a beautiful goodbye. She did not know she was unknowingly holding on to the last living fragment of her best friend. In that fragile golden sunset, Linda believed she was watching the beginning of Luna's happiness, never once suspecting that she was, in truth, witnessing the quiet ending of a friendship that has shaped her entire life. Night fell softly over the farm, but sleep refused to come to Linda. The images of Luna's smile, her waving hand, and the fading dust on the old road replayed endlessly behind her closed eyes. Morning arrived in pale, trembling light, and with it came a silence that felt heavier than usual. Linda moved through her chores mechanically, her hands working while her mind drifted elsewhere, trapped in the warmth of yesterday's goodbye. She told herself that the strange tightness in her chest was nothing more than lingering emotion, the ache of missing someone who had just left. She had no idea that fate was already moving toward her with merciless speed. The phone rang just as the sun reached its highest point. The sound cut through the quiet air like a blade. Unknown number. For a brief moment, she hesitated, an inexplicable fear creeping into her bones. When she finally answered, the voice on the other end was trembling, broken by sobs she could barely understand at first. Then the words reached her, slow and cruel. tearing through her world with unbearable force. There had been an accident. Luna was gone. Time seemed to freeze in that instant. The air vanished from her lungs, and the ground beneath her feet felt as though it had collapsed into an endless void. The phone slipped from her hand and fell to the floor, but she did not hear it hit the ground. She only heard the echo of that single word, gone, repeating again and again inside her head. Just yesterday, Luna had stood right in front of her, alive, laughing, full of dreams. Just yesterday, they had promised each other a future that would now never arrive. Linda sank slowly to her knees in the middle of the kitchen, her body trembling as if it no longer obeyed her will. The cup in her hand shattered beside her, its fragments scattering across the floor like the pieces of her heart. Her lips parted, but no sound came out at first. When her scream finally escaped, it was raw, hoarse, and unrecognizable, a cry torn from the deepest place of her soul. The walls stood silently around her, witnesses to a grief too overwhelming for any human heart to contain. Messages she had never replied to flashed across her trembling screen. Photos of Luna and her lover smiling beneath the open sky. Half-finished plans, half-spoken dreams. Each memory struck her like another wave, dragging her deeper into the reality she desperately wished was only a nightmare. But the truth would not loosen its grip. Luna was gone, and no force in the world could bring her back. The days that followed passed in slow, colorless fragments of time, as if the world itself had lost its rhythm after Luna's sudden departure. The farm, once filled with warm sounds of laughter and familiar footsteps, now echoed with a silence so heavy it pressed against Linda's chest with every breath she took. She wandered through her routines like a shadow of herself, her eyes vacant, her movements brittle, as though a single touch might cause her to shatter completely. At night, she lay awake, staring into the darkness, reliving the final wave of Luna's hand, her last smile, the dust rising on the road that now felt like a border between life and death. Quang never tried to force words into her grief. He understood that pain this deep could not be argued away, could not be softened by simple comfort. Instead, he stayed. Every morning, he placed a warm cup of water beside her bed. Every evening, he sat quietly on the porch with her, allowing the long hours to pass in silence if that was what she needed. When the weight of sorrow became too heavy and Linda's tears finally overflowed, he opened his arms without hesitation, letting her collapse into him as her sobs shook her entire being. He did not tell her to be strong. He gave her permission to be broken. Some nights, when sleep refused to visit her, Linda whispered Luna's name into the darkness, as if her best friend might somehow hear her from the other side of the world. She spoke of regrets, of promises left unfulfilled, of the farewell she now realized had been a silent goodbye. Quang listened to every confession without interrupting. He held her hand each time her voice trembled, grounding her in the one truth that still remained. She was not alone in her suffering. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the wound inside Linda's heart began to soften at its raw edges. It never truly healed, but it no longer bled as violently with every breath. She started to rise again with the morning sun, to feed the animals, to walk the familiar paths where laughter once lived. Sometimes in the wind passing through the fields, she thought she heard Luna's voice, not as a scream of loss, but as a gentle reminder that love does not disappear with death. And through every step of that long, painful return to living, Quang remained beside her, steady as the earth beneath her feet, teaching her without words that grief may reshape a heart, but it does not have to destroy it.
Cô xin chào tất cả các khán giả kênh Lý Tử Ninja Review. Vậy là trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay thì Ninja đã có những giây phút cuối cùng bên người bạn thân của mình, đó chính là Muna. Cô không thể tin rằng đó chính là những giây phút cuối cùng cô đã được gặp Muna, khiến cô cảm thấy rất là đau lòng. Quang chỉ biết ở bên cạnh động viên cô, giúp cô vượt qua nỗi đau này. Tất cả tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện tình yêu Quang và Linda sẽ còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn đừng quên bấm like, share và để lại comment ở dưới video nhé. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.